Biking around the Duwamish Valley and the greater Seattle area can be tricky, as not many people know how to get through the various neighborhoods and industrial areas on each side of the Duwamish River. Hi, I'm Bob Seversal. I'm going to show you some bike routes you can use to get around the Duwamish Valley. Let's check them out. Before we start, I have a quick note. Above the mini-map, I have placed an icon rating the quality of the bike infrastructure being shown based on my opinion. I'm trying this out for this and future guide videos to help my viewers determine how comfortable they might be on a particular segment. We'll first look at the major route used by most people to get from downtown Seattle all the way into Tukwila along the west side of the Duwamish Valley. Starting from the Seattle waterfront, we'll ride south on the Waterfront Trail, which saw major upgrades and reopened in 2025. It's got a couple of names, including the Waterfront Trail, Elliott Bay Trail, and Alaskan Way Cycle Track, so we're going to need to figure that out. But it's a very nice piece of bicycle infrastructure. Heading out of downtown, we'll continue south on the Portside Trail. Approaching the U.S. Coast Guard Station, we hop onto a nice new bike path along East Marginal Way that opened in autumn 2025. At Spokane Street, we turn right onto the West Seattle Bridge Trail. I prefer to use this underpass to avoid crossing at an intersection. There's a chance that the Spokane Street Bridge will open for maritime traffic, so you may have to wait for a little bit, but it looks cool when it does. It's a double-leaf swing bridge. After crossing the bridge, instead of heading into West Seattle or onto the Alki Trail, we'll take a left onto the Duwamish Trail. The Duwamish Trail runs along the west side of the Duwamish River, has access to the Duwamish Longhouse and Cultural Center, and heads into the South Park neighborhood. In South Park, the Duwamish Trail changes to an on-street route on 8th Avenue South. After using the stoplight to cross South Cloverdale Street, we'll turn left off the Duwamish Trail onto South Donovan Street. I recommend this because it avoids a hill climb on the main trail route. Turn right onto 14th Avenue South. There is a project announced in 2025 that could improve the road design through here, but in the meantime, we'll need to ride with traffic. Leaving the Seattle city limits, we'll turn left to continue south on 14th Avenue. There's also a project in the works that would extend the Green River Trail north through here and connect it with the Duwamish Trail. Construction is expected to start in 2026. Entering the city of Tukwila, we eventually reach the Green River Trail. It's a really nice trail that meanders along the Duwamish River and the Green River. From here, you can continue to the Lake to Sound Trail going into Renton, Starfire Soccer Complex, Interurban Trail towards Kent, Tukwila Amtrak Station, and South Center Shopping Area. Next, let's take a newer route that runs along the east side of the Duwamish Valley from downtown Seattle through the International District, SODO, and Georgetown into South Park. We'll start on the 2nd Avenue protected bike lanes, outside the Smith Tower in Pioneer Square. Following the bike lanes, we turn onto Main Street, then 5th Avenue, which takes us into Chinatown and the International District. Next to the International District Chinatown Light Rail Station, we turn left onto the King Street Greenway for a block, then head south on 6th Avenue. This part can be tricky to navigate. Crossing South Dearborn Street, we'll continue another block using a contraflow bike lane, then turn onto Seattle Boulevard, which becomes Airport Way and takes us to Royal Browham Way. Turning left from Royal Browham Way, we can finally access the SODO Trail. The SODO Trail is a short yet useful north-south connection through SODO that accesses 2 light rail stations on the one line. Turn left onto the side path at Lander Street. The crosswalk has a long wait time, and then right onto 6th Avenue. These bike lanes were installed in 2025 as part of a project to safely connect Georgetown with downtown Seattle. The new bike lanes make it much easier to get through the industrial area. Getting into downtown Georgetown, the protected bike lanes end, and we'll have to ride with traffic. We next turn onto 13th Avenue South, and across from the old Georgetown City Hall, we'll find the start of a new side path built in 2025. This side path provides a safe way to travel along the west side of Boeing Field. Approaching South Myrtle Street, the route is supposed to turn left for a block and use a trail to get to East Marginal Way. As of filming this video, the trail hadn't been built yet, so we'll use the temporary 2-way bike lane detour. Here is where the detour ends. As we get to 16th Avenue, we'll turn right and use the flex post protected bike lanes to access the South Park Bridge. After crossing the bridge, we enter South Park and reach the end of this route, and unfortunately, also the end of the safe bike infrastructure. From here, you can ride south with traffic and follow the west route that I showed earlier in the video to continue farther south into Tukwila. Let's look at some lesser known routes that are useful for getting through various parts of the Duwamish Valley. SODO has a handful of routes that are useful for getting east and west through the industrial areas. A popular route uses Holgate Street coming from the I-90 Mountains to Sound Trail on Beacon Hill, onto the SODO Trail, Lander Street, which has a bridge crossing over the railroad tracks, Utah Avenue, watch for potholes, and then Hanford Street to reach the East Marginal Way bike path. A useful connection can be made from the north end of the SODO Trail to the Seattle waterfront by taking Royal Browham Way around the loop, passing the stadiums, crossing 1st Avenue, turning right onto a new bike path along the east side of Alaskan Way, and using the crosswalk at King Street to reach the waterfront trail. Another useful segment for east-west travel is the wide sidewalk on the north side of Spokane Street. It runs from 6th Avenue to the East Marginal Way bike path and connects to the West Seattle Bridge Trail. Georgetown has some signed and unsigned bike routes that you can use. You can get from downtown Georgetown to the Spokane Street Bridge by turning left from Airport Way onto Lucille Street, turning onto Denver Avenue, following a signed bike route using Dawson Street, 3rd Avenue, and Hudson Street, using 1st Avenue to cross a bridge over railroad tracks, then turning left onto Spokane Street, which will take you west to the West Seattle Bridge Trail and the bridge. A lesser-known connection is from downtown Georgetown to the 1st Avenue Bridge. From Airport Way, turn onto Corson Avenue next to the playfield. Then Homer Street, which will take you to Finlay Street, 6th Avenue, River Street, across East Marginal Way, and onto the bridge. The Lucille Street Bridge is kinda steep, but is a useful connection between the south end of the Beacon Hill Neighborhood Greenway and downtown Georgetown. It has a paint bike lane for going uphill. The Albro Place Bridge is the only other connection between Georgetown and Beacon Hill. While it connects to paint bike lanes on 15th Avenue and Swift Avenue, the bridge has no bike lanes whatsoever and forces cyclists to deal with traffic between freeway access ramps. It's uncomfortable to use, but there aren't any good alternatives at this time. Here are some routes around the South Park neighborhood. The South Park Neighborhood Greenway is a relatively new route that is useful. Starting from the South Park Bridge, a diverter leads onto Sullivan Street. At 10th Avenue, you can head north towards the community center, or south towards the library, a bridge crossing over State Route 99, and through the neighborhood to Mara Desimone Park. The bridge over State Route 99 at the south end of South Park can be a useful way to reach Burien without steep climbs. It has no bike lanes, but there are wide shoulders that you can use to navigate across the freeway on and off ramps. It's not great, but if you do cross into unincorporated King County, you'll eventually reach a paint bike lane on Des Moines Memorial Drive that will take you directly into Burien. The city of Tukwila has a handful of routes you can use around the Duwamish Valley. East Marginal Way is the most direct route between Tukwila and Georgetown and passes by Boeing Field. It has bike lanes for some portions and usually isn't very busy, but if you don't want to ride with traffic, there are ample sidewalks to use. Airport Way is another route running between Tukwila and Georgetown. However, it lacks bicycle infrastructure except for a half mile at the south end. Drivers tend to go faster than the 35 miles an hour speed limit, and there are segments without even a shoulder to use. While it is used by faster cyclists geared towards training, I do not recommend it for general riding. And she's off. One connection people might not know about is between the Green River Trail and the Museum of Flight. Near the current northern end of the Green River Trail, you can use a paved trail through Salmon Cove Park, cross a bridge over the Duwamish River on 102nd Street, turn onto Norfolk Street, ride about a block on East Marginal Way, and use this side street to get to the Museum of Flight. It's a nice way to avoid a majority of car traffic. One last connection, one that has been my personal bugbear since moving to the Pacific Northwest, is the connection between the Green River Trail in Tukwila and the Rainier Valley in Seattle. To use this connection, you ride from the Green River Trail onto East Marginal Way, turn onto Boeing Access Road, cross the road using the crosswalks, cross the bridge over I-5 using the shoulder, cross a freeway off-ramp, and then get onto MLK Way using either the sidewalk or riding in traffic. I cannot recommend that you use this route because I think it's so dangerous, but it's a route that some people have to use because there is no alternative. Thank you for joining me on this guide to biking around the Duwamish Valley. I hope it helps you find some safe routes that you can use on your own. If you have suggestions for safe routes that you'd like to use, please leave a comment and share them with everyone. If you want to see more of my content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.